your brain isn't broken, you are just asking it the wrong questions.
Again, you have called me out. Again, you called me out in public. This happens to me at least like 9 days out of the 7 days. So, why are you doing this to me?
I'm doing it to help you, yeah, and probably the others who are facing the same issue, but that's what we are going to do today. Yes, you're having hot toddy, right? Okay. Here's what we are doing today. We are going to get out of that headspace where our brain just decides to ghost us.
Okay.
So we're gonna talk about like some ideas, or rather how we can get into that ideation zone every time we're feeling stuck. Okay. But the thing is that we are gonna do it the old-fashioned way, which is no phones, no Google, and no ChatGPT. It'll be this. It'll be you and me, and it'll be probably pen and paper if you need it. Okay.
But why are we not using ChatGPT? I think ChatGPT is like the only crutch I have for my creativity here.
Yes, exactly. So I'm going to take you back from that because I think pretty much everyone is going to come up with same ideas after a while because everybody is just sticking to that one source of information. So yeah, we're going to change that. And also because, so I read this book last week called Steal Like an Artist. Okay. So this author, Austin Kleon, he talks about having 2 desks at your workplace, studio, wherever basically you're put up. The idea is that you should have an analog desk and you should have a digital desk. Your analog is your thinking desk and your digital is your execution desk. So we're gonna like do that experiment because I tried it out the entirety of last week and trust me, it was amazing. So I'm gonna make you do that.
That actually sounds really interesting. I was kind of excited. Ask for another desk in my workplace, I guess. But I'm ready to get this.
Okay, cheers.
Cheers.
Is everything looking fine? Is the color not blending with my skin or something? Labika. Wait. I forgot the very first line. Tell me about your phone and pen.
What idea again? Gulya. Now my drink tastes like biryani water.
Eeks.
And this is what I would like boil my biryani rice in. So hi guys, welcome back to our newest episode 7 for Zero Next Given. I'm here with Asta and she has the same man of look in her eyes. I don't know what she's going to do, what we're in for, but you know, I'm excited. Let's see what you have in mind for us. Something that's going to blow my mind, but let's see.
He obviously is gonna blow your mind, but it's nothing like as a too extravagant or something. It's just something that we should be doing any which ways. And to be very honest, so because I work in a very creative space, it's very common for me to come across these I don't know, these excuses from people that I'm having a creative block, I can't think today, I'm having a mind block, I don't have any more ideas, or my brain is just too filled and I don't know what to do anymore. So I'm here to bust all of that.
So that's something real, right? That's something that all of us do at some point or the other.
Okay. Don't cancel me for this, but I'm going to call bullshit on that. Because I feel that, I don't know, people are just sort of so overstimulated that if we think that ChatGPT is not answering our prompt right, we thinking, yeah, that's it. Like mind block ho gaya hai. It's not your mind block. You're just relying on that one helpful but sometimes utterly stupid source, and it just gets into that loop. So you basically stop using your own brain for it, okay? And I'm gonna bust that. I'm gonna change that space for you. Okay, so I mean, you tell me. Isn't it very common? I think I've heard like a ton of people by now who say things like, "I got the best ideas in like while showering today," or while taking my dog for a walk. Why do you think that happens?
Maybe it's because you're in a different setting and a different scenario altogether.
Yeah, because you're not trying to fetch ideas, right? So you're just leaving your mind for wonderment, and that's when you come up with the best things. Now the idea is that you can't always just take your dog for a walk. I mean, you can, that would be good. But if you can't, or if you're sitting at your workplace, how do you get into that headspace? So, which is what we'll be experimenting with today. So, I'm going to teach you experiments wherein we are going to reignite our creative part of the brain.
Okay, same man style.
Yes, exactly. Okay.
Like, not at all. Our phone.
No.
ChatGPT.
No. Are you already feeling out of my
Yeah,
guess?
I do feel a little bit insecure.
Okay, so one is we've got the annoyance audit game. We've got random objects connection.
Okay.
Then we've got question game.
Okay.
And then we've gotten the worst idea challenge.
Okay.
And
All of my ideas.
we'll improve that. Are we ready?
I think yeah. Okay. I'm excited. Cheers.
Cheers.
These experiments.
Let's get started.
Yeah.
Experiment number 1. It's the annoyance audit. Okay. Latika, you're gonna love this one too.
I'm always annoyed.
Okay, so it's something as simple as you have to tell about or maybe write, whatever you prefer, the last thing that annoyed you. Like in the last 2-3 days, whatever it is that comes to your mind, something that really annoyed you.
Okay. So this morning, I was annoyed by the garbage collector. The garbage guy came to my house after 4 days, and the garbage guy asking for money for the last 3 months when he has not come for the last month at all to collect my garbage. I have to figure out where to dispose of my garbage, so fortunate for that. Then this morning, Riksha Bhaias kept cancelling only. So
One I asked for.
no, I'm just telling you about this morning. Like,
Okay,
Riksha
fine. Go
Bhaias
ahead.
kept cancelling on me. Then they booked again. Then they came and then they realized they have to come so fast. They were like, sorry, we can't because there's traffic. It's like I know, but
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
So, one thing that is coming right off the bat, it's not just your issue, right? I'm pretty sure the other houses in your neighborhood would be feeling the same thing, or the 50 other people that the same auto bhaiya is gonna drop, or just Bangalore things, if I can call it. It's a universal issue, right? So, that is what we have to understand, that a lot of times the problems that we are facing are not only our problems. So, that can become our vehicle to sort of come up with solutions or to come up with ideas that I can voice out, that I can talk about, and they're not just useful to me, but probably a lot of other people
the
universally.
community that's
Exactly.
affected by things.
So I'll tell you. Okay, let's do it this way. I'll also tell you mine. I think I'm also quite annoyed by a lot of things. One thing that I would say I recently got annoyed by is like how when we go to these restaurants and they give you a place to sit immediately,
Yeah.
but then you're sitting and just waiting to like get water, to get the menu for like 20 minutes.
Correct. Yeah.
It's annoying as hell because I'm like, buddy, it's my time. I'm here to like enjoy. At least give me like bread while you're getting me the menu. So that is something that annoys me. I'll tell you why.
Why? Yeah.
Yeah. So why? One, it just shows that you have gotten customers, but you're not really paying attention to anything. And then second thing is there's no like set system. I mean, to be fair, it might just be my business brain trying to think in that moment, but just tell me, isn't it logical, like if you're opening up a place like that, you would have certain like your non-negotiables should be sorted as a business, right?
To tend to a customer.
Exactly. So here's how you have to think as well. Let's do it together. You do for yours, I'll do for mine. Okay. One, you have to ask the question, who else is facing this? So you can decide who is your audience, who might benefit from whatever you're going to say. Second is what need exactly isn't being met. Okay. And third, what do you think would be a solution?
Right. So generally the people who are living in area that is here going those are the people who are really impacted by this.
Yeah.
So the second question is what needs are not being met.
Yes.
Right? Garbage is piling up inside my house.
Hygiene.
Flies are coming in.
Yeah.
And it's a waste of my time to go out and find a proper disposal area, right? To go and find where I can dispose of it. I can't throw it on the street, obviously. I live in a residential neighborhood. You can't have garbage piling up. So I have to go out and do that. And a proper solution for this would be either having, a big ass garbage can where I can just dump my waste and then he
Yeah.
can come and collect it so that the garbage is not piling up in my house. Or he can just knock on my door every time he comes to the house. Because he
Correct.
comes at 6 in the morning, 4 in the morning, or like 4 in the afternoon, whenever he wants to come.
Yeah.
He will come whenever. So he can just knock on my door. So that would
Okay.
be a good solution. Very simple solution.
That makes a lot of sense. And yeah, that's what happens near my place. It's an alternate day system, so I know that okay they're gonna come. Anywho, now here's how I'll dissect mine. Okay, problem who's facing it? Everybody. Everybody going to that restaurant is gonna face that problem. What need isn't being met? I think it's not efficient. So efficiency, even from a perspective of, I think the business is losing money because a customer has come. One, you're gonna get a bad review for like not having proper service. Second, you're not gonna be able to entertain your next customer because your first customer has taken 20 minutes extra because of your fault. And third, well, it's like your customers are not going happy or having like like a positive time overall. So that becomes what need is not being met. Now, in terms of probable solutions, and I think something that can stretch across others also is having a proper training in place for every person you hire for service in your restaurant, right? Second thing could be having like a checklist or this sort of a system. Third would be having probably a managerial role, just looking at this perspective that if someone has come in sad, have they gotten things on time or not?
At least water.
Exactly. And now you have gotten these random ideas out of like one of the things that annoyed you.
Yeah.
And you can translate it to anything. So like let's say tomorrow when I'm sitting and making my LinkedIn post or doing something like that and I need something to build on. These are my ideas. My annoyance audit has gotten me ideas about building systems, training people, having good customer experiences, etc. And that further translates into like 10 other posts. So it just becomes a way. Now my brain is not in a rut.
Right. So even something as simple as something that annoys you can turn into an idea at your back.
Exactly.
Just to remember of you.
Yeah.
Number one is who else is annoyed by this?
Yes, it's a very simple framework. You go with one, think about the last thing that annoyed you, not something like I was hungry or I'm tired, because that's just that's just like it's human. There's no problem with it. Okay, so you're supposed to think
Self-induced.
I guess. Okay. So you basically you think about what annoyed you last.
Yeah.
Then you ask yourself these three questions: who else is facing this? What need isn't being met? And what solutions I can offer. Okay. When you've gotten this, you are already out of your brain rut, so you'll be able to like put those in different clusters and talk about it openly in a way that's convenient to you.
So Joanne is adding some value.
Yeah. So you see, now it was a fun experiment, but we've gotten what we wanted out of it.
Correct. Alright.
Feeling a little bit creative?
Yeah, I do. Actually, it is kind of helpful.
Okay.
Because I'm such a annoyed person in this.
Okay, let's move on to the next experiment. Okay, cool. Okay, so we've gotten our next experiment. It's called the random object connections.
Okay.
Cool. Here's what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
As the name suggests, we're gonna pick any two random objects in our surrounding, and then we're gonna do something with it. So let me tell you. Okay, let's say what would I pick? My cocktail and my sunflower. Okay, you pick yours.
Pick the easiest ones, like just what's right in front of you.
Okay, that's what's the idea, mate. What are the next obvious things?
I'll pick
Okay.
this pen and a phone.
Phone, okay. Phone and a pen. Okay, cool. Now, I want you to come up with 3 connections between these two objects that you've picked.
Why don't you start? Why don't you start?
Okay, no, we'll do it together. One. Okay.
You start.
Both my cocktail and my sunflower make me very, very happy.
That is okay. Phone and pen also make me happy.
Oh, come on. Don't copy me. Cheater cock. Come up with your own.
Okay. So, let me pick. I'll have to think.
Yeah.
With a pen and a phone,
Yeah.
they both need to be at their best capacity. Like my phone needs to be charged and my pen needs to have ink. Otherwise, they're pointless.
The second connection that I would make between these two things would be both are not going to last forever. They get like withered pretty soon.
These two things are my ex. All of these things don't last long.
I will drink to that.
As long as I'd like them to.
Tell me about your phone and pen.
Phone and a pen. These are things that I would always want to have of me. If I don't have like my phone, I would be not happy. And if I don't have a pen in my bag and I need it, like, these are things I'll always need and I need to have in what's in my phone.
So you see how we were able to like spark these connections between two very randomized things. Now here's what we're gonna do. With these three connections that we brought in, we have to now jot a connection of this with business insight. So how would you translate these ideas into business insight?
If like connecting these two things wasn't hard enough, I wanted
Yes.
to connect these two things and these 3 points to a business.
Yeah, it's not that hard. Come on, we were able to do it in like less than 5 minutes. So think about it. I'll give you like
opposite.
okay. So I think I'm gonna do it for all three of my things, so you get like more ideas and more time to think. Okay. Let's see. The first one, I said that both of these things make me happy. So when I'm connecting it with the business insight, I would probably keep it to how, along with business, having emotions and storytelling in the middle of everything is super important. So that becomes my connection between business and this. Second thing, both don't last long enough. Timing is everything. If I execute an idea after 50 days, I cannot expect the same impact that it would have had on the first. Yeah, or think about virality on Instagram. The trend would already be over.
Yeah.
Right? So timing matters. Third thing, I said perfect date, no? Okay.
How do you associate perfect date?
Don't challenge me, okay? Wait. I'll tell you. When you're trying to form new business relationships, having elements of familiarity make you put your best foot forward.
Done.
Yes. Your turn.
Okay. The first thing was they need to be at their best capacity, right? So I think being on your toes, having control of things, and being very on point and charged up to do things is very important. So even if your battery is low or if you're not in the right headspace or time, you will not be able to perform well, or like you're not going to be able to do the right task for your job. So that is one.
10 on 10, Lavika. You're getting creative.
Just like a workout for my brain.
Yes.
Yeah. So for the second point, when I'm talking about, putting down my another pen and having like a notes app, so you should always have a creative outlet ready.
Okay.
That you can get your ideas down, put it down. So you should not be rushed. You know how you like think of something in the shower and you have nothing around you to write it down, and you're like, okay, something is there. I forget. Like I generally just forget. So creative outlet, really important.
Okay.
And my last point was what's in my bag, like things I need to carry. My phone and generally a pen, which I really like to have around. So I think these are generally tools that you should have for a business or like for anything that you want to run. You should have the right things. So I think that's what I need for my things.
Perfect. I love it. So this is exactly like, it's not even some some extravagant 10-step framework or something. It's something as simple as you're sitting on your desk, you're sitting at your desk, and then you're just looking at like things around you, and you just form a connection.
Correct.
And that just gets you in that headspace of thinking. Okay.
Yeah.
So once you're in that thinking capacity, your brain finds it much simpler or quicker to come up with the next best connection. And this is exactly what our experiment was. So we've like used random objects to make connections that make sense.
Okay, and then when I'm writing my LinkedIn post, do I have to mention that I thought of these things?
No.
The help of a pen and a phone and like a sunflower and a coffee, or just like
Okay, so I'll tell you. You could go about it two ways.
Yeah.
One thing is, this experiment in itself could be your LinkedIn post, wherein, last weekend I did this and then this happened. So you've given a framework in that. But your next post could be probably directly about the business insight that we spoke of. So in your case, when you were talking about creative outlet, you could just talk about 5 reasons why creative outlet makes or breaks your business. So that just becomes like the way in which you're representing the same ideas that you've come around. So instead of like just 3 points, you've gotten yourself 6 ideas out of the same 5 minutes.
yeah, that was very fast. And
Yeah.
very helpful. I think I can do that.
Cool.
Things around me.
We're ready for the next, right?
Yeah.
Right. Okay, awesome. Cheers. Ready for the next experiment? So we've got question game. Okay, this is
Love
gonna
it.
be fun. It's basically nothing but question stacking. Okay, so rather than trying to come up with like one chotu sa non-explanatory statement, problem statement, you just express it in forms of questions.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll give you an example and then we do your side. Okay, let's say my problem statement is we need better client onboarding at our workplace.
Okay.
If I say this, I am already hitting a roadblock and being like, but kaise, but kya, like things like
Yeah.
that. But if I tend to like sort of put this or dissect this one statement into questions and I
Yeah.
stack them. So, for example, so I haven't planned it either. I'm just gonna like make it open ended. One thing can be, what is it that my clients are looking for when I sign them up? One question. Second, I'll be like, what is going to get them excited about getting onboarded versus what's going to make them nervous about getting onboarded. Then I'll be like, what is it that's actually going to make them refer back to my company to another person, like let's say 2 months down the line. So things like that. So now I've come up with like 3 to 4 problems or questions. Ki, okay, client onboarding is needed, but how and what's to be done? Okay, so this is how I'm just stacking it and being like, okay, but what is getting them excited? What is getting them nervous? How to get referrals? How to make the system more crisp and clear? How to get my kickoff call done? So it's just questions after questions. We'll do the same set for you.
Okay.
Tell me, what is it about sustainability that could be like your problem statement?
I think my problem statement would just be like a blanket. People should care more about sustainability. I want them
Yeah.
to care more about sustainability.
Cool. So
Right.
now let's do question stacking for it. Try it out.
Okay. So, okay. First thing, if I was to think about was why are people not more inclined to pick more sustainable options?
Interesting. Yeah.
What is stopping them from picking more sustainable options? Right? Then, where are people getting their solutions from? If not these sustainable options. So,
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
so like if they are picking XYZ thing
Hmm.
and there is another ABC option which is more sustainable.
Yeah.
So what is this XYZ thing that people are going for? And,
Okay.
and why are they going for it?
Right.
Right? And then I guess, yeah, why are people not picking? Where are they going? And how do they perceive sustainability right now? What is the image of sustainability in their minds?
Amazing. So you've gotten awareness, you've gotten why are they going for the other. So
Yeah.
reasons of why
Why
not
not?
picking. It's probably like, like you lead them either, I don't know, affordability issue, lack of awareness, lack of education, and maybe the other thing is more attractive to them,
Yeah.
like things like that. Okay. So here's what's actually happening when we, switched our way of approaching it. When we think of problem statements, sometimes if our mind is not active enough, or like if by default we're like, I'm not a creative person, it becomes a dead end.
Right.
But now when we start sort of stacking questions, it's basically they act like a highway instead of dead ends. So that's the switch that we are trying to make. Instead of, even if it's like a blanket statement, it can get vague at times. Because you're like, just like, this is something I want to achieve, but how, why, what to do?
It's like that one experiment that we did where like when you give one statement or like when you ask someone to do something,
Yeah.
then
yeah.
there's so much confusion. And then
Exactly.
when you like give them specifics, if you have to plan a party for
Constraints.
like, constraints. So sort of like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's exactly what we're trying to achieve. So here's the framework is super simple. Rather than explaining your problem in one line, explain it in 5 questions. That's
Yeah.
it. Like
Okay.
that is literally the TLDR of this.
Just breaking it down and sort of figuring it out. Yeah.
Yep.
I think that makes things a lot easier. In my
So the
opinion.
next time, like you're trying to come up with a solution, be like, how else can I look at this problem statement, and then just try to go with it.
Yeah. Cool. It's quite easy. It was 5
Yeah.
minutes.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. All right. Our next experiment is called the worst idea challenge or terrible idea generator.
Okay.
Okay. What we have to do is, whatever our problem statement is, come up with like the worst possible solution. And then you have to convince why it's not the worst. So it's like a counterintuitive approach wherein
Okay.
you're trying to say something very dumb and then try to prove why it's not dumb.
So go completely whack. But
Yeah.
then you have to make sense out of.
Yeah, I'll give you my example
Yeah,
and then
please.
we'll do yours. Okay.
Thank
so let's say my thing is that I want to come up with fresh content ideas and make a podcast out of it, which is, well, what we are doing.
Yeah.
What we are doing is pretty smart, but let's say I'm to come up with like the worst possible solution. I think I would go with something like I would record a 50-minute episode every week talking about what's in my fridge.
How would that make sense?
See.
And you're just like picking things out of your fridge, like, oh, this is a milk carton. And
Yes.
This is like 1 kg tomatoes.
Yes.
And then this is like,
Yes, it sounds pretty worse.
yeah.
Obviously, but that was the
sounds
whole
really
point.
bad.
I was trying to be worse. So I thought of the worst possible thing. But now, here's how I'm going to become your rebel and try to make sense out of it. Okay, here's how I'm going to connect it. What if people are actually going to connect with my personality based off of what exactly I put out, which is my fridge, which could be dirty sometimes, which could be clean sometimes, and relate with my personality more than they relate with my big achievements.
Right.
Okay, that's my one point. Second thing, what if I give them something so authentic and they start to trust me more because I'm not trying to put up this facade in front of them wherein, I'm trying to be this perfect influencer with like super aesthetic things.
Yeah.
So that's my second point. Okay.
Yeah.
We all hate. You see how your face
do you
went
have
there?
your life together? Why do you have it together?
Why is everything beige?
Yeah, why is everything beige?
And my third thing, and I think this one is a banger one out of the three, I think, is what if while doing like what's in my fridge every week, which is 50 minutes, I pick up everything and then I create an analogy of it with like a business idea or with content. So like, let's say when I'm talking about my milk carton, I related with, okay, what to refill before it gets done. And then I
Yeah.
related with like a business idea.
That's actually very smart.
See, now it's not so worse anymore,
Yeah,
is
it's not
it?
really bad. It's not really that bad. It makes sense.
We're going to do the same experiment for you.
Okay.
Okay, come up with something very like chill, like just
So many bad things. So many like if
Say
I was an influencer, I would be the worst possible influencer. Okay, so what if I were to take one quote, like sleep is for the weak, and post it with a different background every day on one account, just one thing every day.
so lazy, Labika. How? Like what? It does sound terrible.
Haven't you seen that one Instagram account of an egg? One picture of an egg.
Yeah.
I have gone and liked that.
Yeah, well. Okay, go for it. Give me like why your idea is not as bad as I think right now.
It's not.
Yes, that's what I want you to do.
I have to convince you. Okay, so I will ask my self questions, right?
Huh.
What am I trying to achieve by this? What am I doing? So if I'm posting something every day, it's probably like what does a person want to hear or see every day? It's probably like something positive, right? So it probably won't be like sleep is for the weak. It would be a positive thing. That would be like an affirmation that you tell yourself every morning or like every night before you go to bed. So just something as a reminder that pops up in your timeline or like your feed.
Yeah.
Like obviously you're not gonna see it every day, but what if just because I'm so consistently posting and I'm so persistent with my positive affirmation that it pops up in your thing, and you always can come back to my account and you will see this positive thing that you see.
Yeah, now that makes sense. I think I'm also trying to like think in a rebel way myself and be like, what if you make it like get the best wallpaper for your phone, and it's just if someone likes pink, they would go for the same thing in pink, and if someone likes black, they'll
and
be
it's
like
the same thing, but it's like a fun background, and it could be like a get your wallpaper.
that is pretty smart.
Yeah.
But you see what we did there?
Yeah.
Basically, we came up with like the worst thing possible, which was also fun by itself. And then we tried to counterintuitively convince ourselves that, hey, dude, it's not that bad. So here's what we did. We took this approach, and then we, like just for our own sake, we are like, but you know what? Itna bura bhi nahi hai. And then we started like coming up with more things. But that's exactly the idea and what I'm trying to convince people for. I'm not telling them that you will find like the best creative idea out of any of these approaches. It's going to be a typical thing. But what it's actually doing is it's getting rid of that emotion that you have otherwise, which is my brain is in a rut, or that you have this random thing, right? Ki, no, let me just check ChatGPT. So it's like before people even attempt to sit on their analog desk and try to come up with something creative, they get into this whole, let me just Google it. And I think Google is Google, or more specifically ChatGPT or any other AI tool at this point, while it's making it efficient and workable, it's getting us to believe that we are dumb and we can't have our OG ideas.
Yeah.
And that's exactly the myth that I wanted to sort of break at this point. That, you know, you still have your own ideas and you can come up with something. So on your analog desk, you come up with something good, like something good or worse, and then you shift to your digital desk and refine it using Claude or ChatGPT.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, so that's what it is.
Yeah. So, I think this has been a little heavy on my brain when it comes to creativity. My brain has worked out a lot. It felt like a very HIIT cardio session for my brain. Brain has worked. So, I think we've generated enough content ideas for my LinkedIn posts for a month at least. Like 20 tops. I think we can do it. I think
Yeah, we can do it.
it's
Just
time for
jot down everything.
Jot down everything and get them done. Yeah. But if you were to give me like another TLDR of how we've taken this away, and like what are the takeaways that you want me to have when I'm writing these posts, how would you go about it?
So that's what it is. I just want people to remember that don't treat your brain as like a dead end, and just try to sit at your analog desk, shut that Google and ChatGPT account, and just come up with something. Anything, you'll be in that space of creating, and then you can come up with something banger by the end.
Yeah, and then you can refine it obviously using whatever you want. But the idea, the start of it, the inception of the idea shouldn't come from your ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Right? So yeah,
But I've got like a ton of these. So I think we will pick it up once again in a week or two, and we'll see. But first you try these out and tell me if it worked or not.
done. Cheers to that. You'll
Cheers.
see that on my LinkedIn.